So I had just gotten a job at my hometown's local version of Kmart. It was a discount department store named Rose's Discount Store. And, oh, you've heard of Rose's. You don't like to pay full price either. So, even though most of the guys from my high school who worked there got carts and cleaned bathrooms, I was witty and charming in my interview, so I was placed on the cash register. And I quickly moved up the cash register ranks. I was mastering this retail thing. I started on the front register, and then ultimately I was moved to electronics. And then right before the holiday season, because they needed their best guy, they moved me to the toy department, which also had the layaways. If you're not familiar with the layaway, it's when individuals get lots of things. If they don't have all the money, they put down a deposit, they pay in installments, so once they make the final payment, they take all of the things home. So I was very excited. It was Black Friday, and not only was it Black Friday, and I would get to show my skills, it was also the release of the Tickle Me Elmo doll. Oh yes, if you don't remember the Tickle Me Elmo doll, the late 90s, this was an Elmo doll that laughed when tickled. Yes, and for some reason, everybody in the universe wanted this doll. So it was Black Friday. I show up to work at 9 a.m. because I'm gonna work with Kathy, who I hate. And I'll tell you in a moment why, but Kathy and I were gonna work layaway from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., but Kathy was sick. And Kathy wasn't coming in, so I was gonna have to work layaway all by myself, but it's okay because, again, I was mastering this retail thing. No problem. I hate Kathy, I'll tell you why. So, we opened the store at 9 a.m. and hundreds of people came into the store and they bought Elmo and lots of other things, and particularly in layaway, they put lots of Elmo dolls and toys and clothes for their children on layaway, and it was great. Now, what I was supposed to do after each customer is take their belongings, box them up, tape them, label them with what they got, and then file them alphabetically in the stock room. But there were so many customers, and I love customer service, you know what I mean? So I didn't want people to wait, so what I did was, I just took all of their things and I placed them in these amazing stacks. No, 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 no. You have not seen stacks the way that I place these things. It was so amazing. So everything was nice and neat because I was being very organized. And I told myself at the end of the tonight, then I'll just box everything up. I don't mind. So 9 p.m. comes around and I'm like, I'm tired. Exactly, I'm tired. So I'll come in a little early tomorrow. I work at 5 p.m. the next day. I'll come in around, why are you saying all? I come in 5 p.m. the next day, I'll come in around 3, I'll box everything up. I will save Christmas for all of these little boys and girls. So the next day, I come in around 3, I go into the stock room, I put on my smock, and I walk towards the toys. But there are no toys. But it's okay, because I was tired last night, and I thought I had them on this side of the stock room. I really had them on that side of the stock room, so I run to the other side of the stock room, and there are no toys. But maybe I had them on the second floor of the stock room, because I was very delirious last night when I left. So I run up the stairs in the stock room, and there are no toys. So I run out, and I see Kathy, who I hate. And Kathy says, "Hey, Antwan, I see you weren't very busy yesterday." I say, "Kathy, where were all the toys in the back?" "Oh, you mean all of those returns? I put them all back on the shelf, and it's a good thing, too, because lots of people were looking for those Elmo's dolls, and now we're all sold out." "Kathy, what did you do with all of the labels?" "Oh, those old things? I threw them out." "Why, Antwan? What's wrong?" But I didn't want to let Kathy know that I had effed up. So I told myself, you know what I'll do tomorrow when I come in? I'll go with all the customers who came in on Black Friday. I'll print out their list, and I'll get all of their things, and they'll be there in time for Christmas. But the next day I worked, it was busy. So I was like, okay, I'll do it the next day I work. And then the next day I worked, it was busy. And each day, and then we're at the Friday before Christmas. I know. So people are coming in, and they come up, Mr. Smith comes up, he's like, "Hey, I paid for my last payment, I like my belongings." And I was like, of course, Mr. Smith, I'll be right back. So I go in the back and I see none of Mr. Smith's shit is here, so I gotta think, Antwan, you gotta think, because you're a fixer, you can do this. So what I did was, while Mr. Smith wasn't looking, I snuck out of the stock room, I grabbed boxes and I threw anything that I could reach in the box. By this point, we were out of G.I. Joes, so I replaced G.I. Joes with Cabbage Patch Kids. And by this point, we're out of easy bake ovens, so I put fabric softener in there because, I mean, everybody can use fabric softener. And because we were out of Elmo dolls, if they had an Elmo doll, I would put crazy straws. Like, they're fun. They're these straws, you drink them, and your liquid goes all different directions. And I was like, as long as they don't open these boxes until they get home, I'll be fine, because I'll be home. So I gave Mr. Smith this box, and I said, hey, Mr. Smith, you should do some more shopping. We only got a few days till Christmas. Tomorrow, take a look, and if you have any issues, just call the store, because I wouldn't be there. So, that was my plan, and I thought it was working great. But there's always a little old lady that messes up your plans. This little old woman came in and she lied to me because I did the same thing to her. I just put whatever in her box, and I said, okay, ma'am, when you get home, if you have any issues, let me know. But she lied to me. She went to her car. I can't believe she's deceived me like this. She went to her car and checked the box and saw she had all the wrong items. So she comes back into the store, and I'm in the aisle putting things in boxes for another customer. And she says, excuse me, tell me your name again. And I realize I've been found out, and I'm embarrassed, and I look down and I say, it's Antwan. She says, Antwan, look at me. And I looked at her and she said, where the fuck is my Elmo doll? Let's just say she caused a scene. And as she was causing a scene, I look at the service desk and I realize there's a scene there because she's not the only person that's done that. And I look at my manager and there's a crowd around him, and I messed up. But I did ultimately survive the great Tickle Me Elmo scandal of Rose's department store in 1996. I spent the next several days calling every Rose's store in North America to try to find these people's belongings, which was about 6 stores, 3 in my city. But I made it through it. I didn't get fired. I ultimately became Employee of the Month, but I also decided retail is not for me.
All right, all right. Keep it going for Antwan. Make some noise.